Hello, Sam here with our upcoming releases. Next episode, we'll be looking at the 2019 video game Jedi Fallen Order by Respawn and EA. Then in the following episode, we'll be looking at the 2014 novel A New Dawn by John Jackson Miller.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-da-dum, ba-dum, bum, ba-da, bum, ba-da, ba-da, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
It's a period of scarce opportunity. In a galaxy overrun by an oppressive and evil galactic empire, there's little hope for a future free from the Emperor's iron rule. But with the Imperials distracted by a growing alliance of rebels, smugglers and pirates travel the galaxy for fortunes found only by those daring enough to grasp them. Lando Calrissian, a man trying to make his way through an uncaring universe, is willing to bet all he has for a single score, and it begins with a deal of a lifetime.
Hello and welcome to Crashing with Starfighter, the Star Wars Book Club podcast which is stupid enough or brave enough to release an episode on May the 4th and think it will get any traction. I'm Sam.
I'm Emily.
And what are you doing here if you're here day one? Like, you could be watching Star Wars Visions Volume 2, you could be watching Young
Oh,
Jedi Adventures, you could be
you could be
playing
doing all sorts
Jedi
of things.
Survivor.
You could like be someplace doing a thing, you
I
know?
think some Bridgerton thing came out last week. Go watch that. No, wait, stay
On
here.
May the 4th.
Oh no.
Yeah, no. Please stay here.
So, Emily, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, yeah. I've had a busy day.
Last episode, I ended by asking you a question.
You did.
The question was, who leads the Inquisitors?
Ah,
Do you
so
have an answer?
anyone who's ever played Dragon Age will know that the Inquisitor is the guy who sits in a castle in a mountain and gets to date all of the other people in the castle, and they are who leads the Inquisitors.
Okay, I'll narrow it down for you. The Inquisitor's base, known as the Fortress
Yeah,
Inquisitorius,
good name.
is found on Nar, a planet in the Mustafar region.
Oh fuck, it's Vader.
Vader is like the big overarching boss. Well, I guess the big overarching boss of them is Palp himself,
Well,
who we're
yeah,
about to talk
because yeah.
about.
Yes,
But
yeah.
Vader is like, the man on the ground leader. And below Vader, we have the Grand Inquisitor.
He's a real like he's he's the guy on the ground. He's like he is definitely the guy on the ground. Like my dude is their point of contact. I mean, I still think that the Inquisitor is the guy in the castle in the mountains. But
Fine, you can have your guy. I mean, Vader's castle is
uh,
is in some mountains, so
okay.
I
Starting a new
guess
Dragon Age Inquisition playthrough.
in typical Emily fashion, you were close to being right. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. It means a lot.
Because this is our first May the 4th special, uh, what is a special Star Wars memory that you hold?
Ooh, special Star Wars memory that I hold. Probably when I went to go and see The Force Awakens 3 times in 1 week with Faye.
Yo! Tell me about
We
that.
fucking loved it. Oh, it was really really cool because it was both of our like first collective like together Star Wars movie, and we were so excited. Um, and it was kind of like it was a really really cool thing because obviously Faye had grown up a bit more with Star Wars than I had. I'd
Yep.
only ever seen like I'd seen some of The Empire Strikes Back like on a TV in a classroom when I was
hmm
like
Throwback
10
to
or
our
so.
first episode.
Throwback, yeah. Um, and then this film came out and we were hearing all this stuff about it. We were like, oh, let's go see it. And we really loved it, so we
hmm
just decided to go back. And we've only done that a few times. with films that we've like absolutely loved. So yeah, no,
Yep.
that was a really great week.
Out of the Disney Star Warses, Force Awakens is the only one I saw once in cinema. And that's just because at the time it came out, I wasn't really into cinema culture as much as I am now. But like, at the time, it was a
Yeah,
special treat, a thing we did as a family. Yeah, we went up to a cinema. We went to a cinema 40 minutes away, and it was like an event.
yeah, it really wasn't. And I think maybe it's easy to forget with how long it's been out and how much discussion has happened around The Force Awakens that it really was
Hmm.
such a fucking event.
Yep.
Um,
How jaded some of us have become to it.
yeah,
Sorry,
which
not
I
sorry.
don't like. You're the more jaded one. I'm not jaded on The Force
Yep.
Awakens. I couldn't be. It's not possible.
So, my special Star Wars memory is like as a kid, I read a few Star Wars comics, and I've always wanted to get into the books. And it was after coming out of Rogue One the second time, I was just so captivated by how it felt like it was expanding canon, how there were AT-ATs, but there were different, there were AT-CTEs, whatever they're called, and the U-wings, and how it's expanding the universe. And that's when I found out about Disney resetting canon, and there only being a year of books behind it, a year of comics. So my memory
Mm.
is taking a Waterstones gift voucher I got for Christmas that year, going in to the Waterstones in Southampton, and finding one and only one Star Wars comic on the shelf, which I picked up, I brought, I read, and if that was a bad comic, I would be nowhere near as deep into this money pit as I am now. But
We wouldn't
luckily,
be here.
we wouldn't be here. There wouldn't be any starfighters crashing, which
No.
could be seen as a good thing. But yeah, and that comic was 2015's Lando by Cho So.
Oh, oh, you planned this
I plan everything. Call me Palpatine, and Cho So, call me.
for God's sake. We're always just going to go back to that, aren't we? We're just going to go back to that moment, that beautiful moment in time where Charles Soule
That could
declared his
have
love for
very easily
Palpatine.
been my special Star Wars moment. Being in the room to witness that.
It was very special, I will say that. Um, yeah, I mean, somehow Sam has segued, so let's go.
Lando is one of the first pieces of new canon I read, and not only is it still one of my favorites today, it also cemented Cho So as one of my favorite comic writers, full stop. It has a small scale and insular story which doesn't need anything else to understand it. It plants seeds that Saw has been going back into throughout his entire run, but it has effects of the rest of Star Wars canon in interesting and unexpected ways. Giving us a glimpse of Lando before his Cloud City days is interesting enough in the first place, but also seeing him with Lobot, a cast of characters pulling off a heist, it's the perfect scoundrel's adventure for the perfect scoundrel. It also has a delicious darkness to it, as well as the weirdness that I remember from Star Wars comics I read as a child, like the original Marvel run. For a 5 issue miniseries, it's perfectly paced, and I would highly recommend it. Give it a try, you won't go wrong. Han Solo is already a weird comic in that it's set in the same place as the Heroes for a New Hope line, came out just afterwards, and is another 5 issue miniseries, but for some reason is excluded from that collection. While the books in that series give one main character from the films the spotlight, Han Solo is definitely a Han and Chewbacca story, focusing on the pull between their lives as scoundrels and then wanting to do the right thing for the rebellion. It's interesting how it feeds into Han's greed and him wanting to have this big name for himself, but also how it plays into his morality. But sadly, this doesn't stop it from being forgettable. I usually sum this series up in one word when I talk about it. Not many of the characters stick with me, and it doesn't have any real broad effect on canon. It has, however, got some lovely art. This doesn't get as high praise as some of the other comics I've read, but it doesn't get any hate either. It's kind of just there. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you have a copy lying around or get a chance, I'll give it a read. Check your local library, folks. So, released between the 8th of July and the 7th of October 2015, This comic is written by Charles Soule, and it's the first of many Star Wars books. He's currently running the mainline comic between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, as well as finding time to plan many comic events, write some books, both Star Wars and not Star Wars, write comics both Star Wars and not Star Wars, and be one of the main players in the High Republic.
The
Like,
busy man.
and also sometimes flirt with the concept of Chief Palpatine. The art is by Alex Maleev, and sadly, it's his only Star Wars interior work. It's done a few covers, but this book is gorgeous to behold. And I really hope that eventually they get him back to do more. So, Emily, you've read a crawl.
Yes,
What are your
I've read
instant
a crawl.
thoughts?
What's my instant thoughts? Yeah, it's solo basically. So I'm like, this is solo from Lando's perspective. Effectively, that's kind of what I thought while I was reading it.
So this is an interesting one. I should add, because I've been forgetting to do this, the BBY dates for what we're reading.
Yeah.
But this is 0 ABY. This is in the same space as the Leia comic, the Chewbacca comic, and the Han Solo comic we're about to read. Kind of in the
Ooh.
weeks following the Death Star exploding.
Ba-ba-bum. So like 0.2 ABY or
Yeah,
whatever.
real early days in the ABYs.
Yeah, nice.
Issue 1, and if you go into your pack, you will be able to see the cover for the first issue.
Ah yes, the image marks one land one.
Look, leave my marking alone.
I'm sorry. All the rest of them are marked Lando. It's just this one, which is just land. It's just very funny to me. Apologies.
Look,
It's a very nice cover, I will say that.
the cover art is by the interior artist, Alex Maleev. So this is kind
Hmm.
of what the book looks like.
Yeah, it's a really cool art style. I really like. I'm gonna sound like such a nerd right now. Oh, I really like the line work on this one. The really intricate line work. God, I've basically said nothing there. I really like the way that he blocks out the shadows.
Do you know how comic art works?
I know that somebody. Okay, did somebody else do the lines?
Oh no, I was just interested if you knew, but like there's like there can be up to 5 people touching the art.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
more
Yeah, I
depending.
didn't know that. I know that quite often like at least in the interiors. I don't know if it's the same for the covers. They split the lines and the colors,
Yep.
but I don't know what that's like for the covers, the cover art.
What I was gonna
But
say
yeah,
is that line work in comic terminology is perfectly fine because lining is a skill onto itself.
okay, good. I'm very new. Please be nice to me. But I really, for some reason, my favorite bit of this entire cover is the shadow underneath the blaster. I don't know
Hmm.
why. I like it. I think it looks like a good texture. You know what I mean?
Yep, it kind of has that kind of pencil grain.
Yeah, it's grainy. Ooh, it's grainy.
I was gonna say, but someone in the print room heard you mention textures and was just like over the moon that your uni degree paid off. But you started repeating, "Oh, it's so grainy," and I was like, "Nope, none of them are ever gonna listen to this."
Yeah, Charles, if he hasn't turned off during my rant about corpos, um, he's not gonna stay for this one.
Charles got a name drop last week. He should be happy.
He's gotten two. He's gotten one this week as well.
Charles, if you're out there, we love you.
We love you. Keep on printing.
Print on, print on. Lando is on the Imperial colony route of Castle, in a bedroom, looking at some kind of orb. Someone in the bed describes it as beautiful, and
You might say.
Lando says he was just thinking the same thing, but not about the orb. And he turns to the face of Imperial Moff Saria, the governor of a planet who
Ooh.
has a violent reputation, and with whom Lando is currently involved.
Oh, interesting.
She asks why Lando's so intrigued by the orb, and he just straight up admits, because I was gonna steal it, baby. So
Oh no.
Moff, laying on bed, pulls out a gun from under the pillow and aims at him. He starts explaining that, he has debts that need to pay off, and he could have taken it and left while she was sleeping, but he knew that I'd be signing a death warrant, and he knows the difference between reputation and the real Saria, who he's lucky enough to know, and he's willing to bet his life on that.
He's having like a Drake moment. He knows the real her, you know?
And cut to a seedy underground pub, all blacks and greens, weird like fluid piping. Lobot is hearing this story and just can't believe it. Lando, you mad lad. Why didn't you just take it and run? And he again is like, because her reputation's probably true. That's a terrible voice. Hey, Ray.
What are you This is the one Lando voice that you do every single time he comes up. And I know that it's gonna happen, so you might as well let it happen.
Hey, Ray.
It's me, Ray.
Because I know the difference.
Oh god.
No more Lando voices for this episode.
I've had to deal with this so many years, just so everyone knows. I've had to put up with this Lando voice for so long of my existence.
Because I know her reputation's true, and I don't want bad following us, Lobot. Lando tells him not to worry, and offers to buy Lobot a celebratory drink, which he declines, as if Lobot gets drunk, his techno implants start to take over.
Same.
Lando is called in to see Papa Toron, who is one of the people he owes money to. And he owes Papa Toron a very big amount. And he passes over the orb, saying this should be enough to clear his debt, to which Toron's mouthpieces, which are some flying pixie people. He has like 3 of them flying around him.
Fun.
Thank him for returning Toron's stolen property, and says that, this is enough to cover 10% of your debt. Lando argues, but folds when faced with guns. And Toron's pixies, so there's another way for him to clear his full balance. And at the bar, Lobot asks Lando how it went. Lando just walks over, downs a shot, and is like, Lobot, I've got us a new job. Lobot says that they should fight with Papa Toron, but Lando points out that they would just end up bouncing him ahead and be on the run again. He explains that talking his way out of things is his version of fighting. This is my version of fighting. And then he assures Lobot it's a quick job, but Toron's plans are sound, and they get to assembling a crew.
I need to let you know before we carry on. The guy that he owes money to, what is it, Papa Toron?
Papa Toron.
Papa Toron. All I can hear is Papa John's.
They owe Papa John some money because they had a very big pizza order.
Yeah, he owes Papa John some money. They had a massive pizza order, and he shut the door on the guy. He took the pizza and he shut the door.
He didn't even tip.
Terrible thing to do. He didn't even tip. So Papa John's just on him for that money. It was a lot of pizza. He didn't put a deal on. It got out of hand.
Always look for deals when ordering pizza. This is 101.
Always, Lando.
Sidetrack. Once during my GCSEs, I was at a friend's house and we were ordering pizza, and we were smart kids and we were like, let's do maths to work out, the circumference of a pizza not involving crust and work out what the best deal was.
Ooh.
We did like a bunch of math and we spent like an hour on it, and we finally worked out the best value for money, and we went to order it, and because we spent so long, it was like the lunch deal. I spent so long doing the math, but we were 5 minutes out of the timing to get this lunch deal, so we just gave up and brought full price pizzas because we were just so hungry at this point.
Oh no, that's so unfortunate.
This is what happens when you're young and think you're clever.
This is how Papa John gets you.
Would you like to meet Lando's crew?
I would like to meet Lando's crew.
That's good, because if you said no, I had nothing.
It's 90% of the comic.
Well, that was this episode of Crashing with Starfighter. Join us again next week, where we may actually finish something. On the crew, we have Alexkin and Pavel, who are brothers or clones or something, and they're these humanoid-looking panther people. Skilled fighters, who Lando describes as extremely close and extremely good.
Ooh.
And Lobot asks Lando what happened to not wanting to fight, and Lando replies, I don't. That's why we're getting these guys. They then get Corin, who is an Ugnaught ex-server of the University of Balef, where she studied the Jedi before losing her job during the Purge. Because, we spoke about this before. The Imperials want to just remove all knowledge of the Jedi as quickly as possible. So someone whose whole profession is studying them, no place there for her.
She wasted her whole damn degree.
Imagine that.
Couldn't be me.
She is a bit skeptical because the last time she worked with Lando, she lost an eye. But she now has like a cool cybernetic.
Oh, but she has a cool eye now, a better eye.
And the job these 5 brave adventurers are going to be taking on is stealing the pleasure craft of a high-ranking Imperial, which is currently in the docks for some maintenance. For docks like this
Sorry, when we say pleasure craft, do we mean pleasure craft?
That depends how you get your pleasure.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, carry on.
It's like a fancy yacht, which may or may not come up again.
Ooh.
In the next issue.
Okay, alright.
It's one of these montages at the end of this issue where they're describing how the heist will go. Meanwhile, they're doing it. So it's in this space station getting maintenance. So they use stealth suits to infiltrate the dock from a distance. They get onto the ship and they just fly it out. Lando doesn't recognize the ship's controls, but he's sure he can get it going, just, pressing buttons, trying to do his best. They leave the station just flying.
Well, they were just flying, you are right.
They leave the station just fine. Well, the administrator, Commander Pascal, contacts Coruscant, where...
Pedro?
That was a good one.
Much. I need to let you. Thank you.
On Coruscant, we see Masamida hanging up a phone. Do you know who Masamida is?
No, I don't.
Okay, we'll get her in a second. He hangs up a phone and he walks into a room and says that he has some news which is truly awful. And at the end of the issue, we are gifted to the image of Chief Palpatine's unhappy face.
No! That boy! So,
Masamida is the blue guy who is, like, always at Chief's side in the Senate scenes.
Oh, okay. It's that guy. I don't know them by name.
Well, now you do. What's his name?
Now I do. Masamida.
There we are. And
that could have gone terribly wrong.
That's how this issue ends.
Nice.
Now,
a good introduction.
Out of interest, do you have any idea, based on that ending, whose pleasure craft they're stealing?
It's not Palpatine's, is it?
Emily?
Is it Palpatine's?
It may just be Palpatine's pleasure shuttle.
Holy shit! Are there Snokes on there?
This came out in 2015.
Oh, okay. You mean that? No, they planned the whole thing.
Oh, is this why you like The Force Awakens?
Yeah,
oh gosh,
they had a plan from start to finish.
If you think they planned the whole thing, let's just cancel this podcast right now because
truly I'm unreachable.
Star Wars canon is a dot to dot where they're just making up the dots as they go. And it works.
We love it for that.
I mean, look at
Clone Wars. We also hate it.
Look at Clone Wars, reassessing the prequel era. Like, it works.
Yeah, it works a lot of the time.
Fleeing the shipyard, Lando makes clear that he'll work out how to hit hyperspace soon enough. But they need to get away from the planet's gravity well first. And he makes a comment about he's shocked at how well this ship pilots. And that's almost intuitive how the ship understands what he wants to do.
Huh.
Lobot makes an aside about how, oh, be careful, Lando, or you it's me again. Be careful, Lando, or you'll make the Falcon get jealous. As they prepare to go, 3 Star Destroyers appear in front of him out of hyperspace. And Lando marvels at how
Shum,
much
shum,
the ship
shum.
they're stealing must be worth. And
Because of course you would.
Lobot again, just being a smart ass, is like, oh, if we die, Lando, it'll be worth nothing, won't it? Lando's like, flying this, baby. I've never felt this alive. On the bridge of the Star Destroyers, the captains are all on call together, and they're discussing what's best to do here. One of them thinks that 3 Star Destroyers to catch thieves is overkill, but Commodore Idol, who is the lead guy here, the biggest big boy. So it's just a
Big,
show of
big
how
boy.
much the Empire wants this ship. And the ship, we learn, is called the Imperialis, which, again,
I mean,
that name will come back up in later things. Put a pin in it.
interesting. So Palpatine is not very good at naming his ships.
What do you mean?
The Imperialis. Ah, yes. What am I going to name my big Imperial ship?
I mean, he named his apprentices Maul and Savage. No, he didn't. He didn't name Savage. These are their names. But Grievous, he's not great with names.
Yeah. Dooku.
He was there at all their births, and he was like, Sith magic,
He was.
name them this.
I mean, you joke, but that's how he got Ben Solo. But he didn't do well on the naming with that one. He could have done something really fucking hilarious there. He's missed a trick.
Here we are for whiteboard of time episodes since Emily mentioned Ben.
That was good. You cannot be mad at me for that one. That was actually quite decent.
Changing the 0 to a 0.
Woo!
I'm gonna add like a dot, another dot, and a sad face. Because now the 0 is a sad face.
I hope that we never get through an episode without me mentioning Ben.
I'm keeping track.
Please do. Please actually keep track.
So, Commander Idol sends the other 2 Star Destroyers to capture the ship. Meanwhile, he heads to the repair dock and just blows out of the sky, because that's what the Emperor's failure will get you.
Uh-oh.
That's what failing the Empire will get you. The other Star Destroyers send out gravity-based mines designed to stick to ships and detonate to warp space around them and stop them jumping to hyperspace.
Ooh.
Luckily, the ship automatically targets the mines and starts shooting them out the air, which just impresses Lando even more with how capable the ship is. But it really annoys Idol, who is offering 1 million credits to the captain who can stop that ship. Corrin and the Panthers walk onto a bridge and they're confused by all the noise they're hearing. She sees the Star Destroyers out the window, and she's like, Lando, you said this job was easy. What's happening here? And Lando tells her, don't worry, there's a 3rd Star Destroyer out there somewhere. We just can't see it. That's meant to calm me down? And at this point, they get alerted that there's tractor beams trying to lock onto them.
Uh-oh.
Corrin says that things can't get much worse, but Lando flies up between the 2 Star Destroyers, manages to get them to catch each other with their tractor beams, pulling them into each other and doing serious damage to both.
Yeah, Lando's so cool.
Meanwhile, on the planet, Amethia Prime, which is in the inner ring.
Ooh.
It's a water planet with purple seas covered in volcanic islands, and if you open your pack, there is an image of this interior art.
Ooh. Is it number 3? Oh yeah, it is.
It is. We've just skipped over the second cover.
That looks really cool.
On one of the islands, there's a facility. The facility blows up. but a boat skims water, escaping. And a Mandalorianish looking figure flies out of the fire, using their rockets and chasing down the boat.
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
As they get close, people on the boat start shooting, so they start flying under the water, then pop up in front and just fire missiles at the boat, causing it to sink. People on the boat climb onto it and try to cling to it as it goes over, and their leader, who is a guy called Big String. If you go to image 4, you can see the boat sinking.
Holy shit! Oh, wait, is Big String there?
I don't know if there's a good picture of Big String. He's the big guy at the back from who's speaking,
Okay, yeah, I can see.
and that's the
Big
Mandalorian
String.
looking figure.
He's very much a Mandalorianish looking figure. I've got to say, I'm a fan of Big String immediately. I don't know why that's tickled me so much.
Big String asks the figure who they are and why they destroyed his empire, and the figure introduces himself as Chafna Char and explains the reason they did it is because someone who didn't want Big String paid them to do this.
Ooh.
Chafna quickly deals with the crew, bang, 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 leaving only the boss left, and then flies up, grabbing hold of him. And Big String says, whatever this figure's being paid, he will pay more. But Chafna points out, they just destroyed most of his business. How much money can he have left? At this point, Chafna gets a phone call and apologizes to Big String, saying, look, this is an important client. This is the kind of client you drop everything for. And then just lets go of Big String, dropping him.
Big String! No!
And that's the last we see of Big String.
No! Big String!
They open their holo, and who's there but our boy Palps, who has a task for Chafna.
Oh.
He says that he's already put some Imperials onto it, but he doesn't think they'll succeed, and he describes the army as a hammer. Well, this is a job that needs a needle. A needle like Chafna Char.
Chafna Char.
I just realised it's Chanaf Char, not Chafna Char. Sorry, pronunciation guy.
You had a really, really good cadence when you were saying Chafna Char.
I know, because it's so fun to say Chafna Char. But it's Chanaf Char.
Chafna Char.
Chanaf
Char. Okay.
It's not as fun, but we'll make do.
No. Yeah.
He warns that Imperialis is a tricky ship, and that it holds artifacts of great importance that he'd rather see destroyed than in other people's hands.
Interesting. This is some Sith bullshit.
Meanwhile, back in the Imperialis, they manage to get the hyperspace to work and jump away, leaving the one remaining Star Destroyer there with Commodore Idol.
Ooh.
Lieutenant on the bridge asks, What's next? What's next, officer?
There's too many of them. What are we going to do?
And Idol says, you know what? Pulls out his gun. Rebellion's hiring, and just shoots himself right there.
Oh, fuck.
This is a man who knows what
God
failing
damn.
Palp means.
Holy shit. Well, R.I.P. sweet soldier.
On the Imperialis, everyone is shocked that Lando managed to get them away, and Lando wants to explore the ship and see what spoils are, and Corran informs him that spoils there are. I should have mentioned earlier that the deal they have with Papa on this job is that he just wants the ship itself. Anything they find on the ship is theirs to keep.
Papa John is generous.
They go around the ship, exploring, and Corran says that the ship itself is a work of art and says it's probably built by Rafe Sinar, who is a custom ship designer. Very expensive.
Bougie.
They get to this door that Corran says she was unable to open earlier, but Lobot with his implants has no trouble opening it. The door opens to reveal the mannequin of one of, Palp's red-cloaked guards.
Ooh.
Except it's not a mannequin, and it proceeds to run Lobot through with a spear.
That's not good.
And that's the end of issue 2.
Oh, fuck.
And one thing this comic does amazingly well is its endings.
Yeah, it ends like on cliffhangers every single time.
Oh man, this comic just makes me so hype.
No, I'm glad.
And if you go on to the cover of issue 3,
I shall. Let's have a look. Ooh,
you can
sick
see
cover,
you
sick,
can
sick
see
cover.
Lando dealing with his demons. Describe to us what you're
He's just
seeing.
Lando Calrissian is taking a little tumble. He's T-posing downwards um, in front of a big man who is holding a staff, who presumably wants to do him a murder.
One of the red cloaks.
Yes, he's one of Palp's guard guys.
With Lobot's body compromised and focus waning, Lando and Corran have to get him to the medical bay as quick as they can, so he sends in the Panthers, Alexin and Pavel, to deal with the guards. There are two of the Royal Guards. There's two Panther guys. As Lando says, it should be evenly matched.
Uh
Meanwhile,
oh,
at
a bad
Imperial
feeling.
Facility 729D, Chenaf Char.
Chenaf Char.
Were you going to say something?
I was merely going to muse on how good Chenaf Char sounds now.
Chenaf Char is greeted at
Chenaf Char.
the ship they're going to be loaned by Palp for this job by a droid called O6X.
Excuse me?
A droid called O6X.
Oh, 06 what now? In my Star Wars?
O6X, Palp is the nostalgic kind who will name droids that he's never going to see after Holocausts.
Oh god, of course.
The ship is called the Scimitar.
I've heard of this ship.
It was once used by one Darthist Maul,
Yeah, I know this ship. I know this one.
and it's got a special tracker which is logged on to the drive signature of Imperial Alice. They walk onto the ship, and 066 starts to run off all the technical information about what makes it happen, but Chenaf holds a gun to his head and urges him to summarize. Now in orbit, Chenaf is only left with 066's head, because, they don't know this droid. They don't know what it's capable of. So they've just beheaded it,
Damn.
left the rest of it outside, and
Brutal.
now it can speak and give information, which should be, good enough to get this job done.
It's all you need a droid for, isn't it?
Just for the head. L3 would have a riot right now.
Yeah, L3 would be going crazy.
066 explains that he's got a lock on something, but because the Imperial Alice's drive signature, it could either be it, or it could be a neutron star. And he starts, but Chenaf just cuts him off, saying, this mission is either success or death. And just hits for hyperdrive.
Bam.
Lobot is now in a back to tank, and Lando is just apologizing. So sorry that this job was meant to be the last one. Meant to be the last job, Lobot, but now
Oh, it was his last day on the Force.
he's in Bacta. He can't think straight, which means his implants are slowly starting to take over. Curran says that Lando shouldn't be shocked about this, You always manage to hurt those around you. And then Curran starts freaking out about the Imperial Guards. And, why are they on board?
Chill.
Who the heck is the owner of this yacht? Lando, you've killed us all by bringing us here. And I was like, look, we should go and help the twins. And if you open the next picture in your pack, you can see a lovely double spread about how this fight is going.
Oh, damn. Oh, those Panthers are cool.
This is the start of a fight. They both go in there. And, yep, this is just, again, the art of this book. Mwah.
Beautiful.
It's this cool,
Wow.
creepy, like kind of robed room, and the guards,
Mm.
the lighting's making like this kind of plum aubergine color
The plum guards.
for plum cloaks, as we call them.
The plum cloak.
So at this point in the fight, it's not going too well for the twins. And they both get pinned down to the ground at the same time and start making eyes at each other.
Oh,
Meanwhile, Cod and Lando
hold
are
on.
at the armory, picking up guns, and Lando's like, "Ugh, guns! I never use them. I hate them." But Corrin convinces him and armed to go back to the room to find the guards dead on the floor.
Way.
They take off the cloak, their faces. They're like kind of moldy and gross. They have like
Ooh.
some kind of corruption on their skin. And Corrin suggests, maybe this is just what these guys look like. But Lando knows this isn't true because he recognizes one of the guards, having spent a night with her before.
Huh.
But it's like,
Wait.
yep,
How can? Wait. I've got a lot of questions about that, Lando.
Lando just sleeps his way through the Empire.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Lando just sleeps his way through the universe.
I suppose I shouldn't really have any questions.
If you can't beat them, beat them.
Fuck 'em. Yes.
What was the cut? Who knows? They realize, there's two Imperial guards in this room. Whatever's further into this ship must be good. So they go through to find a room full of artifacts that Corrin can only describe as one word. Sith.
Absolutely.
Lando is unsure who the Sith even are, and Corrin just summarizes by being like, the Jedi? The opposite. And
These are the other guys.
Lando's like, oh, well, we've got up in this galaxy who have the Jedi, so aren't they some kind of criminals? And Corrin's like, ugh, I hate what the Empire's done to this place. There's lightsabers covering the walls, and in the center on a pedestal, there's this creepy looking mask.
Uh-oh.
Lando's looking around, he's, making big arms, like, with all this stuff, we're going to be set for life. Well, they're all looking at the lightsabers and the wall. The mask's eyes begin to glow unnoticed.
Bum, bum, bum.
Do you know what time it is, Emily?
Is it spooky time?
It's the end of issue 3.
Oh, damn, I should have seen this coming.
It's a cliffhanger, Emily.
They do love a
It's a
cliffhanger.
Charles Soule loves
It's
two
relatively
things.
a cliffhanger.
Cliffhangers and seeing cliffs at Naboo with Chief Palpatine.
To be fair, he's managed to work Palpatine into, like, his first, like, Star Wars foray,
Mm-hmm. And, like, in a big and interesting way. Like, this isn't your daddy's Chief Palpatine.
It's not. And he's not just like he's not like a little part of it, we're going through Sheev's we're going through his underwear drawer right now,
Yep, what he just sends a bunch of fodder to try and get it back.
Effectively, yes. Now we love to see it.
Sneaking up behind the Imperial Alice. Chaffner jumps from the scimitar to one of the access ports at the back of the ship. They ask what they should be looking out for on the ship. And, what will help them complete the mission. And 066 replies that if Palpatine didn't mention it, he didn't want Chnaf to know
it. Fair.
Chnaf gets through the port and starts making her way through the ship. Meanwhile, in the vault, Corrin works out that the artifacts are all the works of a Sith sculpture called Lord Momin. Lando asks how much they can get, and Corrin informs, finding a buyer for this stuff would be insanely hard to do, but at the same time, any buyer who would want this collection would be very wealthy, and says that everyone on the team after this mission will be able to buy a moon or two.
Basically, they've got to sell them back to Palpatine. That's the ultimate grift.
Lando's overjoyed with the idea of his own moon, and says that he'd call it Landoland. And I think
he's worse than Palpatine is.
I think in our second episode, we made fun of Lord Jun for calling his ship the Lord Jun. And I think we may have said that that's not something Lando would do.
Yeah! Oh, fuck!
Not even Lando
You're
would do
right.
that, we said.
No, Lando wouldn't even do that.
Meanwhile, Lando Land.
Lando. Oh no, we've been fooled.
Lando and Corran
Mindless Lando
start to
simps.
walk away with one of the twins, leaving the other, Alexin, alone in the room for a moment. Alexin looks at the helmet, and its eyes begin to glow again. He then walks over to the wall and picks up one of the lightsabers. His brother, Pavel, has come over to, see what's up, and puts his left hand on his brother's back, only
Oh
to get
no.
his whole arm sliced off.
Oh no.
Lando and Corran have also stopped in the doorway, are shocked, and they flee. And just as soon as they're out of the room, they hit the lock, locking the twins in together.
That's not good.
Lando's like, I'm hurt, but always expect a double cross. But Corran thinks it's less a case of Alexin wanting a bigger payout and more to do with Sith magic.
Bum bum bum.
But she always thought the idea of dark side corruption was anti-Sith propaganda by the Jedi's. For ages they controlled the information flowing in the galaxy, and most of what we know about is from the Jedi temples. So maybe the Sith corruption isn't real, but also we have seen the Imperial Guards, whatever's happening in there now, and basically, having spent her life researching the Jedi, Corran is out of her depth.
Hmm.
Lando wants to gear up and try and go back. He's like, we have to save Pavel, not the loot. Pavel is who we need to save. Meanwhile, Corran is like, nope, this job's not worth it anymore. We need to get to the escape pod and leave as soon as we can.
Smart.
She's like, honestly, Lando, I'm shocked that I considered this before you did. Chnaf asks 066 for control to the ship's operating system. He starts off being unhelpful and declining, to which Chnaf says, hey, 066?
Oh no.
There's a bomb in your head.
Oh no.
Give me the codes, or
Wait.
you'll be in some kind of suicide squad.
Fuck, you got that for me. You knew I was gonna do it. You knew. God damn you.
My main joy here is just getting to bits a second before you.
Fuck. I was so close. I was like, no, hang on. Are we some kind of suicide
I could
squad?
see, I could feel you taking in breath, getting ready.
You know I love that joke. You know I do. This
Yep.
is so cruel.
I mean, do you want to like go back and I'll edit out when I say it? I can make you say it. And Chnaf warns 066 they've planted a bomb inside his head.
Wow, this is just like that movie, Suicide Squad.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I hadn't considered that. Ah, maybe Cho Soh is a hack.
Maybe he is.
Anyway, not liking the idea of being threatened by a bomb, 66 gives Chnaf the codes and says, make sure you capture the thieves because, now you have a power. It would be embarrassing if you didn't.
It would. It really would, actually.
And Chnaf says, with this operating system, it will be easier to capture them because they can make sure they can't leave.
Ooh.
And while Corran tries to convince Lando to get in the escape pod, he's not swayed. Lando wants to stay because Lobot needs the Bacta to help him. It's the only thing that's allowing him to fight with the implants right now. And this causes Corran a moment of pause before she apologizes, saying, I know Lobot means a lot to you, Lando, but we're in over our heads and we have to get over here. And it's at this point, over the comms, let's call the OS Siri. Siri goes, I'm sorry to announce that the escape pods have all been deactivated.
Oh no. I'm
Back,
sorry, Lando. I can't do that.
back in the vault, Pavel asks Alexin why he would do this. This was going to be their last job before being able to afford a clone child. It's what they've always wanted. Their weird,
Wait,
incestuous twin clone
wait,
love.
wait. They're adding like another one in. They're cloning themselves again.
Yep.
I, I mean, each to their own, I suppose.
Alexin is disgusted by the idea of having a kid with a parent with one arm. And he doesn't even want a child anymore anyway. I want this, he says, gesturing at the
The
Sith
fuck?
artifacts. And this is when Pavel picks up one of the
Jeez.
spears and starts fighting. Corrins runs to the bridge, trying to reactivate the escape pods, but gets caught on the way. And Lando hears this and he's like, okay, I could run, but no. I can't do it. I would give Corrin too much satisfaction. I have to help. You know.
That's the only reason.
He hears the conversation between Chenaf and Corrin. Chenaf's like, are you here with anyone else? And Corrin's like, no, I'm alone. Sneaking up, he ran to the corner and is instantly faced with Chenaf's gun.
Uh-oh.
Chenaf recognizes Lando instantly and asks him to drop the gun, which he does. And then Corrin asks, what are you doing? Why are you listening to them? And Lando says, hey, when someone recognizes me and doesn't shoot, it's a bet I'm willing to take. And Chenaf takes off the helmet to reveal her face, one that Lando recognizes.
Ooh.
And
Let me guess. They slept together.
Chenaf calls Lando the biggest fool in the galaxy for stealing the ship. And then she informs him that she was sent here to kill the thieves or destroy the ship. Back in the vault, it turns out the twins managed to twin clone incest people have the twin clone incest panthers have become friends
Best
again,
characters.
and now both wielding lightsabers. They leave the vault, and that's the end of this issue.
Ooh. So I reckon a fight's going to be had with the incest panthers, which is not a sentence I expected I was going to say at the beginning of this episode.
But it's somehow a sentence which is sweet on my lips.
Has anybody asked Charles Soule why he wrote incest panthers into this story?
The real question is why would you not have incest panthers in your story?
I mean, I can think of a few reasons.
It's
Just
such
no context.
it's such a bizarre thing, but it's like perfectly like classic Marvel Star Wars. Well, it's a bit of a classic Marvel Star Wars to have incest panthers, but you're just like such a bizarre left field idea, but it just feels comic book.
I do respect it, I will say. I do respect it.
Chenaf starts setting up the ship's self-destruct, much to the protests of Corrin and Lando, who still want to pay out. She points out that she was given two options: capture the thieves and take them back to Palp, or blow up the ship. And she thinks that Lando preferred to go with Plan B. Lando's like, hey, we haven't even talked about Plan C, baby. And Chenaf just instantly is like, look, I've known you long enough to know your plans get people killed, baby.
Fair.
And Corrin just laughs. I was like, hang on. And he suggests that, they frame Alexin for trying to steal the ship. I mean, he was trying to steal it from the thieves. If anything, that's worse than trying to steal it first. When they can reactivate the escape pods, load them up with as much loot as possible, and blow the ship. Chenaf gets to capture a thief, Lando gets the loot, the evidence gets destroyed. It's a win-win-win. Chenaf says, look, great plan until, one of these items appears on the black market, and then I get Vader after me.
And nobody wants that.
She then goes to activate the self-destruct again, but Lando lets her know how Lobot is, which causes her pause. He explains what's happening, how he was stabbed and the implants taking over, and he needs to stay back to it as long as possible to get his strength back. And while Chenaf gets it, she still needs. Who's that coming down the hallway? Alexin and Pebble ask the group to leave their which annoys Lando. This heist was his idea. The idea of this Panther now just claiming the ship for himself just doesn't sit right, you know?
No, it's kind of big-headed.
It's like, and hang on, how long have you two spoken for? It was like, I've never heard you speak before. And Lexi explains, their voices are sacred to each other, and any outsider who clears it must die. Except Corrin. You see, Corrin, you've been misled by Lando. You come join us. You've been for the rest of history. And look, here's Momin's helmet from a plinth to try and tempt you.
Ooh.
Corrin gets tempted over, picks up the helmet. So, you know what? I agree, these items are too precious to be sold. And that's when the twins take turns slicing her down.
Oh, God.
Chenaf shoots out the door controls, buying him a little time, but not much. She then hits a button to activate the self-destruct, and instructs Lando to get Lobot and bring him to a specific airlock. Lando fears Lobot may not have had enough time, but Chenaf just shoots back, none of us have enough time.
Fair.
After we're back to tank, Lobot says he's feeling better, and asks Lando if they're rich yet. To which, just over loudspeaker, self-destruct initiated. Crew urged to leave immediately. Lobot's like, oh. So, we're not rich? They leave medbay to find Alexim waiting for them. He's happy to see Lobot well before igniting his lightsaber. Lobot's first thought, they can talk? Hey, I said the exact same thing.
They talk now?
They talk now! Chenaf orders 066 to bring the scimitar in, but he denies. His primary purpose is to protect his ship, so taking it towards another vessel which is about to self-destruct seems counterintuitive. Chenaf tries to explain to him with the, that suicide suicide squab on your neck? Oh, the one you loudly announced and gave me enough time to deactivate. Yeah, I remember it.
Oh, fuck.
Goodbye, Chenaf,
Oh, no.
he says before jumping away. And Chenaf's there looking out a window, watching this, and then in the reflection, notices a panther boy behind her.
No, not a panther boy.
She pulls out her gun, which instantly gets sliced. And she pulls out a knife and asks Pebble to bring it. Lando manages to convince Alexin not to kill him, but telling him about Chenaf and the codes she possesses, she could deactivate the self-destruct sequence. And while she wouldn't do it for either of them, she would do it. For my best bud Lobot. That's right. She may not have slept with Lando, but she has got feelings for Lobot.
That's actually the plot twist of the century.
He manages to convince Alexin into, putting away the lightsaber and come with him. And then Lando pulls out his own blaster, lifts it up, and shoots a panther down.
Whoa.
Lobot is shocked. Like, since when has Lando had a blaster? I thought you hated blasters. And Lando goes, I was bluffing. Your entire life? What? Like, look, bluffing doesn't work if people know when you're bluffing. Anyone who knows any difference just points to the panther. They're dead, bitch. They're dead.
They're dead, bitch.
We meet up with Chenaf, who has managed to down Pavel, and Lobot is happy to see her again. Lando asks about their escape, and Chenaf tells him it's over. Her ride's gone, she doesn't have the codes to deactivate the self-destruct, only to activate it and their escape pods. Lobot asks, to be taken to an interface. If they plug in his implants, he should be able to deactivate it himself. They do this, they plug him in. Because of this, it's giving the implants power to take over.
Uh-oh.
Manages to activate the escape pods, but through doing so, he knows that his mind will be lost, and as soon as he's unplugged, the implants will rule his mind. Lando tells him, but
Yikes.
They always defy the odds. Right? And then a 10-second countdown starts from self-destruct. They unplug him, they quickly run to the escape pods, Lando tries to get Chanaf to come with him, in for hopes that, Lobot, knowing that she's there waiting, will help bring him back. She tells Lando that Lobot made his choice long ago, and that she stopped waiting. And then she gets an escape pod and leaves. Lando quickly pulls Lobot into a second escape pod, and promises Lobot that he'll find a cure. This is when, as they launch away from the exploding ship, Lobot starts playing a self-recorded message. Hey Lando, if you're hearing this recording, then I'm gone, and you've probably said the word cure. I bet it didn't even take that long either. Maybe you'll pull it off. I wouldn't put it past you. I've seen you beat crazy odds, but even if you don't, I'm not angry about what happened to me. Not now, and definitely not by the time you hear this. I live by my choices. I don't think I have much time left. Let me get to it. You have a power, Lando. People follow you. They're willing to become chips in your game, cards in your deck, and that's an amazing thing. It's how you do the things you do. We're your luck. So here's what I'd tell you while I'm still your friend of many years instead of whatever I'm about to become. Stop playing. Get out of the game. Fold. Find something to believe in, other than yourself anyway. Use that power. You have that luck, all that charm. Do something good with it, Lando. Oh, buddy. You're better than this. And that's the end of this comic.
Oof. Damn. Hell of an ending.
Kind of a bittersweet, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Is there a follow-on to this comic?
I will say something that I said in the intro, which is that Lando is currently writing a mainline series which takes place in between Empire Strikes Back
You mean
and Return of the Jedi.
You mean Charles Soule?
I repeat what I said earlier, that Charles Soule is currently writing the ongoing series set in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Hey, Ray! I've got a new job. I'm writing the Star Wars mainline comic.
So maybe this is a thread that's popping back up.
Oh, okay.
And if
I would like to get some resolution.
If you remember the Dark Droids miniseries which is about to come up, we learned about it at the Marvel Planet Celebration.
Yeah.
The tagline is "It's a bad time to be a cyborg." So
Ooh.
we're gonna see how that pays off soon, probably.
Very interesting. No, really cool.
What did you think of it?
I really liked it. I thought it was really good. It's one of my favorite ones of the comic series we've gone over, I think.
It's the fourth comic series we've gone over.
It had a lot to it. Yeah.
Out of
It might be my favorite, honestly. One, actually. Fuck it, let's go. It was good.
Even all these years on, it's my favorite Star Wars comic.
It's got Palpatine, it's got Panther incest, it's got everything. It has touching bromance moments, you know?
It has a dark Sith helmet, which will definitely never turn up again.
It does. Oh, we'll never do that again. No, of course not. That'll never show up again.
This is the new segment called Forcecast, where I forcecast some foreshadowing. Foreshadowing. This is our new segment, Foreshadowing, where I say...
That's like a 3-layered pun. I love that, actually. Like, that's actually really unironically good. Forcecast is actually good because it sounds like it's got force in it. You're also forcing this upon me. We're in a podcast, so it's cast, and then it's also forecast, as in things to come. That's actually sick.
I like foreshadowing more.
Foreshadowing. Yeah, I like that, but no, I like Forcecast because it has a reference to the fact this is a podcast.
Okay, this is your weather forecast. We do some foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing.
Imperialis. Moment's helmet.
Ooh.
Lobot. Chanaf Char.
Good name.
Okay, have you got any thoughts, or should we move on to the next comic?
Um, I want to say justice for my man Big Spring. Justice for him. Um,
Emily,
Never forgotten.
the thing about
Always in
Big
our
String
hearts.
is you need to let him go.
No, I won't. I won't do it.
Sometimes you
I'm gonna
need
be
to
holding
just.
on to this string for life, baby.
Sometimes when you have Big String in your hand, you just have to drop him.
No, I never will. I just don't want to lose this thread, you know?
Don't get tired and not tell me. It's not worth it.
Oh, fuck. Oh, thread string. Oh, our fates are entwined.
um, I'm happy to say that Big String does have a Wikipedia page.
Yeah! I'm going through it right now.
Big String was an amphibious alien who lived during the reign of the Galactic Empire as a crime boss, the fortress they constructed on the Inner Rim. Sometime later, an individual hired
Big
Taffeta
string.
Char, a bounty hunter, to destroy Big String's fortress and apprehend the crime boss. Char did, but uh, Big String was forced to flee. Char caught up with String, however, and grabbed onto him and flew to the cloud level. Char then received a call from Galactic Emperor Chief Palpatine, so she dropped Big String from a tremendous height.
Oh no. Poor Big string. I like the fact that there's a section for personality and traits, and we
It's
don't
just
know what
all
his
based.
personality is.
It's just
So
all based on
it
his
just starts,
appearance.
yeah, it's just makes his appearance, and it just starts. Big String was a crime lord. Like, I get he was a crime lord. Draw from that what you will. Which is also how the Book of Boba Fett was written.
Justice for Big String. This is now a Big
Justice for
String
Big
fan
String.
cast.
I feel like we need to develop a list of characters who we want justice for, including Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney is definitely on that list. I can't remember his name.
Oh, you you don't mean actual McCartney. You mean
No, I don't mean
Delanto
actual
Dar.
Paul McCartney. I mean, yes, the character that we referred to as Paul McCartney. Fucking hell.
Good old Delanto.
Oh, God.
Should we go on to
What a
Han
guy.
Solo?
Shall we? Yes. It's a period of unrest. In a galaxy oppressed by the Empire's unrelenting brutality, there is little hope for change. Nonetheless, rebels have banded together to fight back against such corruption. While the rebellion grows in power, Imperials fight to crush any hope for an overthrow. With the Empire's hands full, the opportunities for crime are endless. Han Solo has taken a step back from the rebel cause, returning his focus to what he does best: smuggling. Untrusting by nature, skeptical of any who cross his path. Unfortunately for him, he cannot stay under the radar forever.
So this is Han Solo, which came out a little bit after the other the other comics we've covered, but it's in the same period. So I don't really understand why there was
Huh.
this long gap. Uh, we said before that there's the Heroes for a New Hope collection, which has Leia and Chewbacca and Lando, and I don't understand why Han wasn't part of that. Anyway,
Yeah.
this comic was released between June 15th and November 23rd of 2016, and it's written by Majori Liu, and it has art by Mark Brooks, and it's also his only interior comic art for Star Wars.
Well,
How do you feel about the crawl, Emily?
yeah, pretty good. Yeah, I like the fact that they're just like, oh yeah, Han can't stay under the radar forever. When has Han ever been under the radar? Respectfully.
Um, when he was too insignificant to notice.
Fair enough. But afterwards, like after A New Hope, my guy has not been under the radar even once since then. He's not very good at it, I don't think. He can't stay out of trouble.
Do you want some quick uh do you want a quick Han Solo force cast?
Yes, I would love a force cast.
So he escapes Corellia, he joins the Imperial Navy, where he's absolutely awful and definitely stands out. He then becomes a smuggler, in which he takes place in a lot of Jabba business probably did stand out. Then A New Hope happens, and he stands out there. He stands out for most of the OT. He was in Carbonite for a bit. I don't think he stood out much there, mainly because
No,
he was kind of tucked away in the corner of Jabba's palace. Then after Endor, he led like a liberation force to Kashyyyk, in which I think he probably did stand out. He was then like,
probably.
he was then married to Princess Leia, and I feel like even if he tried to hide, he was standing out quite a bit. And then was like an unknown dark period where he just didn't speak to his son or wife, where he may have stood out, may not, may have, been able to not stand out before meeting Rey and dying.
And I honestly, his death very much did stand out. I think to most people who saw The Force Awakens. So
Also, I've just got
there we
over
go.
The Life of Han Solo, and I didn't mention the Kessel Run. That makes you wonder, why did they base the whole movie of Solo about the Kessel Run?
It's because he mentions it one time.
I like that movie, but I have all
Oh,
the
we love a bit of
I
Solo,
have
a
all the
Star Wars
Han
story.
stories to say. Are you ready to begin?
I am, yes. Let's go.
So something doesn't sit right with Han Solo this time. He keeps finding himself turning down jobs that he would have usually taken without asking any questions. Chewbacca thinks he's spooked, but he just thinks he's being careful. Like, at this very moment, he's in a bar, being approached by a Trandoshan called Catrol, and he's just turned down a job from Catrol, because that's probably Imperials probing the sector. As Catrol walks away, he warns Solo that he's getting a reputation for having cold feet. But Han doesn't think that's right. He leaves the bar, and he swears he passes a woman from the last planet he was on. And that seems weird. So he decides to make a run for it, running down the street, turning a corner, only to be held up at gunpoint by someone wanting to discuss some business.
It's really funny that he just went down the street. He just like fucking booked it for like no reason.
He has a jitter. He has a fear in his heart.
I mean, I know he was right, but like, it's funny. It's just funny to think of like a dude being really chill at a bar and then suddenly just getting up and fucking book out the door.
Me after a couple of pints. Han asks why these people were following him. They say they were waiting for the right moment. And then they decided there wasn't going to be one. And they go inside this hideout, and inside is Chewbacca, playing to Jarek from Astromech. I was like,
No.
Chewie, what are you doing here? And the Astromech projects a holo of Princess Leia, telling Han that she needs
Ooh.
some help. And that there will be a reward if he does.
What kind of reward?
The people who turn out to be rebel troops are called Adame and Slantia, and they will give Han any help he needs. And he asks what they want, and they reply, they need a ship. And they get ready to pack up and leave. They explain they need to go to the Gomar sector, and Han says that's further than he plans on going. Rebel then asks who said he'd be invited, and that they just need the Falcon. But Han is adamant that the Falcon will go nowhere without Chewie and himself. Han asks why her worshipfulness, talking about Leia, trusts these two more than she trusts him. And they always explain it's because
Actually, she's just a princess, so she's just your highness.
her worshipfulness, please. And Rebels explain that, she trusts us because we're loyal to the cause, and you're a smuggler. Han argues that neither of them fought at the Battle of Yavin, to which they just ask, fine, can we have your ship or not? Inside the Falcon, Han flies to where the Rebel fleet is currently hiding. He lands, gets out, and he says, you know what? I only joined you guys for a quick payout. And he should have kept moving. In the hangar, he confronts Leia for making plans of his ship, and she tells me to talk somewhere private. She takes Han's arm and leads him into the back alleys of the ship.
Ooh.
Han explains that he needs some time to square things with Jabba, but Leia counters, you know what? Maybe you're just not as good a smuggler as you thought you were, because a decent smuggler would have been able to pay
Ooh.
Jabba back 5 times by now. And at the end of a corridor,
Get him.
we meet an old guy who complains about Han being wrong for this job. And he's like, we don't have time for you to convince me here. There's too much at stake.
I'm an old guy.
He thinks that Han is sloppy and dishonest, and Leia introduces this old guy as General Iron Kraken. General Aaron Kraken, the head of security and intelligence of the Alliance.
General who?
Orion Kraken.
It's changing every time you say it.
Iron Kraken.
Iron Kraken.
Iron Kraken, the head of security and intelligence of Rebellion. Han asks why they want their ship, and Kraken's just like, look, classified. But Leia convinces Kraken to let Han into the loop. Okay, so with a network of spies running information throughout the Empire, all with this one job. And last month we got a ping from one of them, but since then they've been dying off one by one. And now there are only 3 left. The Falcon is the only ship that's fast enough to get to all of them in time before we think they'll all be dead. Han asks for whatever reason it has to be his ship, as he feels there's like some information they're hiding, and I explains that there's probably a Maul in the Rebellion, because the only people who knew about these spies were the spies themselves, Kraken and Leia. So they need a ship which isn't on the Rebels' radar, and Han's ship is perfect, not even get the attention of Rebels themselves.
Yeah, because it's a shithole.
They even have a good cover for it. You see, the 3 planets these spies are hiding on happen to be points that this big race called the Dragon Void Run are passing. It's famously the most dangerous race of the galaxy, and it's Han's dream to take part in it, but the entrance fee is too expensive for him. So Leia says, look, the fee's already paid, we just need a ship to go there and save our pilots. Han agrees to do it, but Leia reminds him that, the priority is the mission, not the race. Back outside the Falcon, Han says it would be suspicious if he just leaves, and Leia counters that, you're always leaving, Han, you're never staying.
Ooh,
so Han says,
I love that.
Han says, Leia, it's different this time. I'm on a mission, he says in the middle of the hangar when there's a rebel mole somewhere. And he says, Leia, can I have a good reason to go, and leans in for a kiss.
Ooh.
So Leia just punches him in the face and shouts, you're not welcome here, you foul-mouthed, phlegm fleecer. Get off the ship and don't you ever come back.
Good for you, girl.
On the ship, Chewbacca comes over as Han walks aboard, and Han waves him away and just says, don't. And they take off and fly to the starting line of the Dragon Void Run. The starting line is like this cool space station in the middle of space, and it's surrounded by ships. So they land, they walk into a meeting room to meet the other pilots, and they learn the rules of the race, which are, there are 3 designated planets they stop for refueling and sleep, which happen to be the 3 where the spies are. If they stop anywhere else, they will be disqualified. That's the only rule. Han is kind of surprised by how showy and clean all the other pilots look. And when Chewie asks if he's concerned, he says, nope, I've got the fastest ship in the galaxy. To which a pair of Twi'leks, one purple called Sontarit, and one green called Nook Azil, overhear him and say that he's making some bold claims in this crowd. They ask what races he's already run, who his sponsor is. And Han tells him that, he's paid for this for his own back, but his main achievement is the Kessel Run. They just laugh at him. They call for an attendant droid to escort him out as he clearly doesn't belong here. But the droid comes over and is like, nope, Mr. Solo is a registered pilot. It's me again. Hello there.
Hello there. It's me again.
It's just one voice again. Hello there.
And then some other dude comes along and is like, but who are your people?
It's funny, because at this time, another elite racer, a Pantoran called Dallin Vuk, comes over and tells Han that he's a fool if he thinks he has a shot against their primed racing vehicles. We're,
Ooh.
we're rich pilots with Tory vibes, and you're just some smuggler.
He's up against the fucking Tories. He has to win now. I've never rooted for Han Solo more in my life.
But another pilot, a forearm bug-looking guy called
Oh god.
Luriano, says that Solo probably has the heart and loyalty of his crew, which is more than these guys can say.
Ooh.
Anno has nothing except her ship, yet her skills aren't being questioned, and everyone knows that she's the oldest race in the galaxy and the one to be here. And if you go into your pack
Mm.
and you scroll to the Han Solo section, you'll be able to see the page where we're introduced to these people.
I will. Whoa.
So that big one is Luriano.
They're so tall.
She is a tall
Oh,
one.
the blue guy's kind of the blue guy's kind of giving me some vibes. He's definitely the Tory.
Yep, okay, I was worried which vibes they were. And then you can see the two Twi'leks behind him.
Yeah.
It's
Amazing.
It's worth pointing out that the weird lights floating around them are not the space station's lights. They seem to follow Anna around.
Oh, that's cool. God, I wish that was me.
Back in their ships, all the crew's getting ready. Chewie again asks Han if he's nervous, and Han replies, why would he be? They have this, no matter what Leia says, they're gonna win. The countdown finishes, and they hit hyperspace. And Han assures Chewie that it will all be easier from here. And then all the ships exit hyperspace, and he sees the races in front of him being attacked.
Uh-oh.
And issue 1.
Oh, fuck. We're in the Lando school of cliffhangers, I see.
The Lando school. Hey, Ray, I've invented a cliffhanger.
Hey.
Hey.
Ray. Hey, Ray, I heard you didn't have any education, so I've made this school. Can you imagine?
What's this one, Lando? It's a cliff. I'm hanging from it.
Never do that one again.
Which one?
Ray, never do Ray again.
What's this one?
That was just the fucking youngling from the temple. I hope you know that.
Yeah, I know.
Master Calrissian. What's that one?
That's Ray's attribute. She's high-pitched in English.
I mean, I can't argue with you there. I can't argue. You are correct.
Daisy Ridley's voice and my youngman's voice do give me similar vibes.
You know what? That's actually fair enough. I'm hearing her voice in my brain now, and it's meshing together with the youngling voice, and it's deeply unpleasant.
You're welcome.
Oh, God.
Shall we continue?
I think we shall.
The Dragon Void Run's commentary team revealed that the first obstacle in the race is what is causing the ships to explode. They've never lost this many races so quickly. Dylan, the blue Tory guy, is in the lead, with a trap, which is mines, are close behind him because I like tracking mines. Sonta and Noak
Who put those mines there?
for race.
What the fuck?
It's like challenges, surprise challenges.
Oh, it's like
race.
This is like if like
Is it
you know
set up?
if like NASCAR.
No, but it's here.
What if NASCAR just put mines down? This is not. It's not a race if you have to dodge mines.
I've watched more NASCAR.
That's fair.
Sonta and Noak for Twi'leks are arguing whether to use their pulse yet, because it will save them here, but they may need it later. In the end, if they do it, it's like this EMP, it deactivates mines around them and managed to get away. Anno is taking her time flying through it, not rushing, and it's working well for her. But Han and Chewie go full steam, just racing ahead, with 2 mines after him. The commentary team asks how an unknown like Solo thinks he has a chance for some of the best pilots in the galaxy, having already been taken out. And that's when Chewie warns Han they have company, and Dallin swoops in front of him. Using a Falcon as a shield, he starts trying to shoot the mines, not caring if Han and Chewie get caught in the crossfire. The Falcon
Ooh.
speeds up and hits Stellan's ship, taking out of the race momentarily. And Han wonders why he took this job. It doesn't pay well and probably get him killed. But also, he's never felt more alive. He decides the way to get away from his mines is to fly back into the debris of the other pilots and slow his engines. The mines, being heat-seeking, fly past him, trying to, get a more active target. Anno uses her harpoons and attaches her ship to the Falcon, and as Han flies away, she gets pulled along with them.
Wait, is that allowed?
There are no rules except don't stop anywhere else.
This is fucking wacky racers.
They hit hyperspace again, and Anno thanks Solo for his help, which annoys Han. Like, he didn't help her. She helped herself to his help. That's not fair. They're now heading to the first Brave planet. There are 4 ships fighting to win the leg. And in the end, it's Stellan who managed to get it. Han lands,
Nice.
and he's going to walk over to Stellan to say something, but Chewie tries to stop him. Han tells Chewie
Wait,
to...
Dylan's a Tory, isn't he?
Yep.
Oh fuck, I just rooted for a Tory. I thought that Dylan was one of the Twi'leks. Sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
He's a lame one. Han tells Chewie to get on with the mission we're here to do before getting up to Stellan. And we see someone notice Chewbacca leave. Han accuses Stellan of shooting at him, which Anno is offended by. It's against the code to attack another pilot. And she
Hang on. They do have rules.
No, they have a code.
That's rules, bro.
Look, is this comic particularly well written?
Listen, I'm not going against the writing of the comic. This race sounds like a fucking health and safety nightmare. This is worse than, there's that Faye's mum and dad like the bike races, and there's that one race on the Isle of Man where like people die and stuff. This is like this in Star Wars, and like it's not a good idea.
I think it's a perfect idea. Also, one thing I left
No.
from the Han Solo timeline earlier is he has a period of time in the gap before the sequel era where he does become a racer.
Does he?
Yep.
Oh. I mean, that checks out.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing.
Anyway, so Anno says that Han can file a complaint and get Dallin disqualified, but Han says he's not worth the time. Only one rule, Emily.
One rule too many, apparently. You're allowed to put mines on the track, but you're not allowed to shoot at each other. What the fuck
As
is
Han
that?
walks the street, the crowd calls his name. A dog comes over. You know the dogs were like Sebulba, that species.
Oh, okay.
They like walk on their hands and they have their feet up in front of them.
Yeah, those guys, they kind of freak me out a little bit.
He comes over and gives Han a little bit of advice, one smuggler to another, but the enemy is on his tail. Han turns
No
around
shit, he's in a race.
and sees 2 Lando-class shuttles landing. He runs to the back streets, right into some stormtroopers who quickly arrest him. Meanwhile, at a bar, Chewbacca hears about the Empire arresting pilots as he's waiting to meet his contact, a Fooleen called Ewell. So a Fooleen, do you know Shadow of the Empire?
I've heard of it. I don't really know anything about it though.
Tangent time. Shadow of the Empire was a multimedia thing. So there's a game, there's a comic, there is a book, and there's a soundtrack, which came out kind of early 90s, I think, or mid 90s, somewhere in the 90s. And it's set
90s stuff.
Set between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And the idea was it was like there'd be action figures, there'd be all this marketing for it. And it's basically like a test run for marketing of a prequel trilogy. And in this, you meet the Black Sun crime organization, who are run by Fooleen. And one of their key characteristics is, I'm not sure if it's males in the species, I'm not even sure it's a thing in canon, but the guys had pheromones who made gals want to get with them. And let's just say, the leader of this crime family used them on later.
Oh no! Oh no, oh no, oh no.
But
Star
anyway,
Wars.
Ul is one of his species.
I can't believe that Star Wars has done an Omega verse. I hate this. Fuck.
Ugh.
If you don't know what that is, if you're listening to this and you don't know what that is, do not look it up. Please stay innocent.
If you want to look it up, Sarah Z has a great video. That's how I know about it.
Oh yeah, actually, go go to her video. It's actually good. I've seen it.
Anyway, so Ul has a Joros called Bot to look after, and he's the contact. But Bot, seeing Chewbacca, is scared that Chewie will eat him. The Joros, there's a lot of species in this. The Joros are
They really are.
Cad Bane's a Joros, and Shiv from the Battlefront 2 campaign is a Joros.
One of those blue boys. Yeah, I'm familiar with the blue boys. Okay.
Ul assures Bot that Chewie won't eat him before backing away. And Chewbacca starts walking back towards the Falcon when the girl who's been following him pulls out a gun and tries to kill Bot. Luckily, there's a lot of crowd around them, and they're all on Team Falcon, so they start, Spider-Man style, you mess with one of us, trying to get a person who was shooting one of their favourite pilots. Meanwhile, with the pilots, they're all being marched, hands behind their back, towards the Lando shuttles. They've all been arrested. Amos is there,
Okay.
and one of her little glowing orbs has taken a liking to Han.
Ooh.
One of the troops hits Dylan with a stick because he was.
And that's it. That's it. That's how we leave that. One of the troops hits the with a stick. Moving on.
It's because he was talking back, but Han sees this and takes the opportunity to start fighting back. And an Imperial officer walks over and tells Han to stop, as he wouldn't want blood spilled on camera. It turns out the race cameras are all there surrounding them.
Oh fuck! It's like a reality TV show.
And that's the end of issue 2.
Why am I imagining that Han gets like cutaways where he gets to comment on everyone else in the race?
Yes, please. Well, what do you think he's thinking right now?
I think he's probably just like he's doing like like when the Desperate Housewives have a fight or something.
No, never
He's
seen
doing
Desperate
that.
Housewives.
Okay, you uncultured swine. Anyway, he's doing that. He's like effing and blinding, and he's going on about Dylan, and then it just cuts to Chewbacca, who's just like, I can't do a Chewbacca noise.
It's like, I know this guy called Boba Fett. I just keep asking myself, why do you want to be a crime boss?
That's like the tangent that he goes off on, like while in the middle of his run, and he's just like, and anyway, why do people want to be crime bosses? I don't fucking get it.
Like, I know I'm a smuggler, but this whole rebellion gig is getting more and more tempting to me. I don't know why I'm doing the Joker pauses.
Han's having a Joker moment right now.
Do you want to know how I got the ship?
God's sake.
Issue 3. In Rebel Base,
Issue 3.
Leia and Kraken are watching the race. But this is a disaster. What is happening? But Leia has a spark of hope called Han Solo. The Imperial officer complains about all the people on the street calling Han's name, the name of a criminal, and he uses this as the main reason the race should be stopped. Han argues he can't help being lovable. The officer laughs. He laughs at this whole group, the most elite pilots in the galaxy.
Ooh.
In quotation marks.
Yeah, shockingly, people just like Han. I don't know what he's done to endear the crowd to him, so.
Okay, you Solo hater.
No, Han's just a guy. I don't dislike Han. I just like to rib on him because I think it's funny.
Moving to Anno, he asks how she came to be the last of her kind. And oh, by the way, Anno's the last of her kind.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking, where did I miss that? Was I not listening? Holy shit.
No, I forgot to mention it.
Okay.
So Anno's the last of her kind, and Arn leans over and asks how it came to happen. And Anno retorts that it usually happens with help. As in people probably attacked her kind.
Yeah,
One of her orbs again
good.
flies over, and an officer threatens to shoot it, but Arno says that'd be murder, and Han defends the light as well. It's like
Mm.
it's only a little light. What harm can it do? And that's from the race's organizers, who are three looming cloaked figures on hover chairs, fly down,
Oh.
and they ask for the race to be started up again. It's been expensive to
Oh.
organize, and these pilots will probably kill themselves taking part anyway.
It's like these guys are those three dudes from Loki, you know?
Yeah, that kind of
You know the
vibe.
three dudes?
And
Yeah,
again, they'll never come
exactly
up
that kind of
again.
vibe.
Uh,
Okay, alright.
the officer, seeing the crowd get nasty and the race cameras everywhere, concedes and allows the race to start back up. But, their time
Right.
starts now, we need to get off this planet. How it works is,
Hey.
when the race starts off after the break period, they have a 10-minute period to get in the sky, otherwise they're disqualified. So Han runs back towards the
Hmm.
Falcon and just hope that Chewbacca has the revelation and is already on board. He gets to the ship to find Chewie holding a med kit to Bot, trying to help stop the blood from where he was shot. Han asks what happened, and Bot explains that Chewbacca gave him
I
paralytic.
I
Yep.
He what? He what?
1 second.
Wait. A paralytic is a person who's afflicted by paralysis.
1 second.
So
I'm just getting this comic up. I'm a professional podcast host now, Emily. Can you not tell?
I mean, we can tell.
Han asks what happened, and Bod explains that Chewbacca sedated him, and he now can't move, and asks to never be saved again. The ships all start taking off, and they hit space, and Han realizes one of the flying orbs is now inside the Falcon's cockpit. So he hails Anno to try and
Ooh.
find out what it's doing there, but she doesn't tell him, instead thanking him for the save. And then the ships start jumping to hyperspace.
Pew.
Bot walks into the cockpit, and it just says, "I always hated space travel." To which Han asks why he isn't still paralyzed, and explains that Duros have a really fast metabolism.
Also, he was paralyzed.
Yeah,
Ah, I completely misunderstood that situation.
but then tells him that he thinks he knows who the killer is, a member of the spy
Okay.
network.
Bum bum
As you know,
bum.
only Leia and Kraken knew their names and locations, and it's not like one of them would be the spy. Because of
I mean,
this,
we can vouch for Leia, but you know, maybe the other dude is a little bit sus.
Bot points out the trait's either him or one of their next two pickups.
Ooh.
The ships strip out of hyperspace in time for the next obstacle, which is a debris field, which will have to have the pilots fly through it at fast speeds. Basically, if they drop below a certain speed, they'll be disqualified. And it's
Okay.
it's like it will take hours to get through. It's a bit like movie Speed, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So just
The one where they can't stop the bus,
yeah,
right?
yep.
It's exactly the same thing.
In space, just a bunch of debris. It goes on for hours and hours, and they have to just fly through it at a high speed. And if they drop below, they'll be disqualified.
That sounds like hell.
Are we clear on the rules? There's only one rule. Are we clear on the
Yes.
rules?
No, there's not only one rule this time. They've added rules.
There's only one rule, Emily.
Are they allowed to shoot at each other in this one? Will there be mines? Who can say?
I mean, it's against the code.
Fuck's sake. The fucking code.
It turns out that even if they're disqualified, they'll be able to stop at the planets and, continue watching for race. And Bot is happy with this. I mean, it's like, you know what? We can have an easy run. We can just not try and still pick up the others. It's simples. But Han wants to win.
Simples.
So he tells Chewie to prime the thrusters and Bot to strap him. It takes him 12 hours to get through the debris field just above the set speed.
Oh god.
And as ships explode around him, Han makes it for the first 11 hours easy. But near the end of the 12th hour, he
He really needs to piss.
he catches his engine. He catches his engine on a piece of debris, and they start to decelerate. Luckily, Dylan comes in, and he harpoons Han and starts pulling him forward.
What?
And it turns out because Han stood up to the Empire, he's now earned some respect.
Oh, that's kind of nice, actually.
They stop on the second planet, which is a sand planet, and Han leaves Chewie to fix the engine while he goes to meet the contact. One of the race cameras won't leave him alone, but it gets destroyed with a glowing orb, which is good because he's just got to where the rebel contact's going to be. Walking back to the Falcon, it's revealed that Han is now at gunpoint by an old cat-like friend who wanted Chewbacca dead.
An old cat-like friend.
This is a person who looks like a cat.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's the end of issue 3. Have I not got a picture of a cat-like friend? Oh no. So you're gonna have to look up Dorae. So Dorae.
Okay.
Han Solo.
DOR. I'm doing it. Oh, yeah, it's a Kashyyyk.
This is the second comic we've read today with cat people in.
Does this one have like a twin that they are oddly attached to and want to raise a little clone baby with?
I'm just saying, furries, we serving.
We're serving today. Honestly, the furries are eating well today.
I always knew I'd see you again, Chewbacca. With the threads of the universe tightening, everything lost can be found again. Says Dorae, which is how you instantly know that she is not to be liked.
This is some furry on furry violence that's about to happen, I think.
She is super angry at Chewbacca for killing her baby.
Oh, fuck.
It turns out
Chewbacca killed a baby?
her baby was a baby raptor which was trying to eat Han.
Oh, okay. So not like I was imagining like a little kitty baby, you know, like just a little guy.
Yeah, they say that, and you're like, what the heck? But like, oh no, it was a raptor.
Yeah. You hear that and you're just like, no, I want this woman to win.
And
no, this is valid. She fucking killed
and as we
somebody's
all
baby.
know, as we all know, killing pets is fun.
Yeah, killing pets is fine, absolutely. Long established Star Wars tradition to kill people's pets.
So she's holding Han hostage. It's like, look, you killed my pet, maybe I should kill yours. And that's when Bot comes up behind her, starts threatening to shoot her as the traitor she is.
Ooh.
At this time, Anno comes in with a Twi'leks, and they all have guns raised. It's like, the orb told me you were in danger, I got help, what's happening here? And just, they're all in the Falcon, all aiming guns at each other. Meanwhile, Chewbacca's there, like, holding some biscuits.
You know.
Anna is happy to see that Han is safe, but she's like, the schedule's tight, we need to take off soon. We need to go. The Twi'leks want to shoot the spies. What the heck are we doing here? They're all holding guns at each other, but decide against it because they just don't want to get involved in whatever Han's doing.
Yeah, fair. Don't want to get involved in anything that Han's doing.
But anyway, they managed to get Dorae to drop the gun, and now Chewbacca's got the gun on her. So Han and Anno walk away and have a little one-on-one conversation. And Anno tells him there's enough drama in the race without adding to it, but also promises that the other races won't tell his drama to other people.
The race has been beset by drama.
Meanwhile, it's like an aside, and Dorae is speaking, like, oh, I've never seen Twilight Pilots before. She might be off dancing somewhere for her master, which almost gets her shot by the Twi'leks.
Mm. Yeah, yikes. That's like super racist, actually, isn't it?
It's not cool, is it?
No, it's not cool. It's really not on. I've really like gone the other way on this person. I heard about the baby murder, and I was on her side, and it's all gone downhill from there.
Anna explains that her grandmother was one of the founding members of the race, and that while flying is usual for her species, what made her grand special is that she didn't want to fly alone. And for her species, the Dragon Void Run became a rite of passage, flying over people in unison. The stars are in their blood. And she says that the stars are also in Han's blood, which he argues against, saying he's nothing special. Anno says that just him being here shows that he wants to be something more. As she's on her way out, Han says that he's sorry that she's the last of her kind, and that she has no one left to fly with, to which she counters that she's
Oh,
flying with him.
oh, that's really sweet.
Back on Cyber Falcon, Dory is now sitting down with a cup of caf, and they're all being friendly. The alarm goes off to signal the start of the race. 10 minutes to get ready, but Dory says, "Don't worry, Han. It's been a change of plan. We don't need to take part in this anymore because I've called the other spy. They're going to meet us here."
Ooh.
Han isn't happy with this because he wants to start the race, and Bot is convinced it's a trap. That Dory is the spy and has called some muscle here to kill them all. So Bot is also on Team Takeoff.
All Han wants to do is go fast. All he wants.
And furious.
Well, yes, that's true.
Sure enough, in the distance, blaster fire is heard, and Han does true to prep the engines. Getting down the ramp and looking outside, he sees two speeders flying towards him. And one of the speeders stops right in front of the Falcon, and it turns out people chasing him are all Imperials. Two passengers jump off and tell Han that he's meant to pick them up, and when he says by whose orders, they reply, Her Worshipfulness.
Ooh.
On the ship, Han takes off and gets back in race with seconds to spare. Chased out by TIE fighters, Han knows they aren't shooting to kill. Dory tells him they don't want to kill what's on board, and that's when all the ships jump to hyperspace. Han turns to people who are there now on the ship and asks who they are, and one of them takes their head down, and it's Ewell, a Vulcan from Bot's planet.
Okay.
And we also meet the last informant, Aaron the Eloman. Full title.
Whoa. Aaron the Element.
Han tells Chewie to search for informants to find out if they have any weapons or trackers. Then he goes to the cockpit with Ewell. And Han questions her, and he realizes that, by saying Her Worshipfulness, she's obviously been in touch with Leia, and Leia's told her to say that as a code word. And Ewell tells Han that he's good at playing dumb, for asking how long it is before they return to Rebel Base. And this is when Han says that he doesn't want to return to Rebel Base for a possible. Ewell counters saying, "Look, you just want to win the race, don't you?" And that's when they drop out of hyperspace. Nano welcomes him back, and they're faced with a bunch of Star Destroyers.
Uh-oh. He just wants to race.
Han says there's no time to discuss this. He tells everyone to strap in, and as they all do, we get one last shot of Aaron dead on the floor. We didn't even get to know him.
Oh no.
One
Bro.
issue left. Turns out none of these racers have gone to mess ships, which is weird considering he saw Dylan do some shooting earlier.
Wait. Yeah, I was just about to say. And also, Han accused him of shooting him, right?
Yeah. Dylan shot him earlier, but none of his ships have gone to him. And
Fuck.
Dylan is perfectly ready to surrender. Dory comes into the cockpit and tells Han that Valoran has been found dead, and the Empire tells all pilots to shut down their engines. Anna messages Han and tells him and some of the other racers to follow her, and that's when, flying fast, being chased by the Imperials, Anon summons giant space jellyfish from the space between time to destroy the Imperial ships and give the racers a chance to finish. And if you flick through pictures,
I have a new favorite. Oh my god.
I thought you would have
Is
seen
there a
this
picture
moment.
of it? Yeah. Oh, this is the one. Oh, there are big jellyfish out here.
Giant space jellyfish from the space between time.
What? Okay, so this is my new favorite Star Wars character.
This is your gulp shit. Your
Cool as
gulp
fuck.
shitto.
Yeah, this is my Gobshito. Oh, that's so cool.
It's where this comic gets good.
I really like the fact that immediately after they've shown that the big jellyfish are here, there's like that panel of the Falcon cockpit and Han going, nope, not looking, not looking, not looking. He's like, none of that bullshit.
He doesn't. He's a space jellyfish denier.
That's it. That's where we end the series. And that was Han Solo.
Han gives Chewie the controls, but warns him to keep an eye on the fuel, as this part of space is known to suddenly drain you. And he goes into the seating area.
Wait, what?
It's like the current challenge is like they're in an aerospace which just suddenly drains engines.
How does that work?
So like they're flying into it, but the idea is we'll get there. We'll get there. This comic just
Okay.
this comic just introduces ideas as it wants to. We'll get there.
All right. Okay, I'll trust you. I'm going with you.
They go into the seating area, and everyone's sitting there. Well, all the live ones are sitting there, and Dory just instantly congratulates Han for doing a spectacular job in the race and letting his ego get in front of the mission. It turns out this part of space is the Dragon Void. It's a place where you can't jump to light speed. So, and the only way out of it is this warp portal at the end, which is the finish line. So the choices are now win or get caught by the Empire.
Interesting.
Yuil, who has been doing some investigating, tells Han that Aaron was poisoned. Han says his ship is his home, and he doesn't like having people kill other people in his home, before pointing at Bot as the culprit. Han reasons that he knows Chewie and himself didn't do it. He was with Yuil at the time Aaron was killed, and he knows Dory enough to trust that she didn't, to which she counters she feels like killing everyone at that very moment. Bot says he didn't, before instantly jumping up and trying to stab Han with a syringe he kept up his sleeve. Chewie comes into the cockpit, just catches him midair before throwing him into a wall.
Nice.
But Han tells Chewie that he wants to keep Bot alive, just as Bot stabs his own neck with a needle. Dory says it's not enough to die, because they have a high metabolism, but it's enough to put him to sleep until they get back to Rebel Base. And Bot just keeps muttering under his breath, right. He's not a killer, he's not a killer, he's not a killer. So Yuil assumes he was put to some kind of Imperial brain conditioning. Be it a Borg gullet or a mind flayer. Something like that.
Wait, they have mind flayers?
Yeah, mind flayers are Imperial tech.
Am I forgetting this? Oh, yes, like, spoilers, yes. Yeah. Yes, I remember this now, sorry. This has literally come up recently.
Yeah. It's something like that.
Enough said.
Han goes back to the cockpit and asks Zano what she'll do after the race, as they're all flying to the finish line. To which she answers that she's tired of loneliness, so for her it's either a case of win or die. And as they near the wormhole, they start racing for pole position. A wall of TIE fighters fly up behind them, and that gives Han the opportunity to rocket to the lead. He realizes that if he does, it will be leaving Anno to die, lost in space with no fuel for the Empire to pick off. So
we have to save her.
Just before entering the wormhole, Han spins back around, starts shooting with TIE fighters, giving Anno the win.
Hell yeah.
Yuil comes into the cockpit and offers Han a gun, asking only that he kills her before he kills himself. They can't let the Empire get anything useful out of them. But then, the Stargate shines open, and multiple ships come through. Anno's people, who it turns out were just hidden in the space outside of time. As Anno was done with life, she'd been permitted to join them. And she asked them all to come back and help her save her friends.
Hang on, unpacking this.
Yep. Please do.
These people are massive fucking dicks. What the hell? Like, this poor woman's been going on for this entire story about how lonely she is and how she's like the last of her kind. And she she gets to a point where she would rather die than be alone anymore. Mm-hmm. And they all show up and they're like, "You've passed the test."
Yep.
Oh my god. They're all The worst. Holy shit, I can't actually believe that. That's so bad. Bro.
Anyway, Anno says that she is now home, and the Lightball friend who has been Millennium Falcon this time flies out in space to join the rest of its kind. These ships start taking out the Empire, giving a chance for Han, Dylan, and the Twi'leks to make it through at the same time, all technically winning the race.
Hmm.
The organisers are trying to decide what to happen with prize money because they've never had three people win altogether, but Han decides it's best to just get out of there and leave them to it, jumping to hyperspace and getting back to Rebel Base. At Rebel Base, Yor gives Leia the master list of all the information that they've got that the spies managed to retrieve, or Han internal monologues about how you trick yourself into believing things about your own survival, but it could all be lies. Eventually you have to make a choice. But, the lie can seem easier. And I'm not sure if you get this, Emily, but the lie is that Han's a bad person when he's actually a nice guy, but he's trying to convince everyone he's a dick.
Every single piece of media about Han Solo, and I mean this lovingly because I do love Han, every single piece of media about Han Solo hits you over the brick with this at the end of it. And it's really funny to me that every single thing he's in, they do this. They're like, Han's a good guy, right? And I'm like, yes, I saw the thing. I know he's a good guy. I saw the thing that we just watched. you don't have to have a character come up to him and just be like, Han, you're a really good dude, no matter what you say about yourself. It's like we saw it.
Speaking of, Leia comes over to Han and tells him off for being reckless, but thanks him for pulling through. With the mission complete, she's assuming that he'll be off again, but he says this time he may stay around, just a little while, just in case. And the last shot of the book is them with their hands down, they're almost touching hands, but not quite.
Oh, racy.
So Emily, what did you think of this one?
I really like this one.
When I ask
Lando
about
more.
Star Wars media, I really liked this one.
I like it. I like Star Wars. Leave me alone.
I
like Star Wars.
I'll allow it.
I will tell you if there's something that I don't enjoy. I will tell you, but I did enjoy it.
I will say
I thought it was.
But reading this, the punches roll easier than me just reading beat to beat what happens.
Yeah, I feel like I don't usually. I'm gonna this is gonna come really out of left field, and it's gonna be like absolutely a weird left turn here. I don't usually like any media that surrounds a race.
Ooh.
Because I don't like races. They make me nervous.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh no, this entire thing is about a race.
Huh.
And yeah, I don't know why I don't like it, but I did enjoy it actually. I think it's mostly because.
Sorry, my first thought, recommend Lee Man 66. It's centered on a race and directed by James Mangold, who's going to be doing Dawn of the Jedi. My second response, have you seen Cars?
I have seen Cars, and it's like my least favorite Pixar movie for the same reason. I don't really like things that are about races. I don't know. Actually,
not like it when the red car went ka-chow?
I did like it when the red car went ka-chow, but the majority of that film does not happen in a race. It's only the final part that's a race.
Have you seen Cars 3 where it starts off with him being in a horrific car crash?
No. What the fuck?
Anyway.
Lightning McQueen! Lightning McQueen okay? Jesus! This is why I don't like race media. Oh, race media is actually a weird term. Media about races. Car races. Or ship races. Or leg races. Oh, fuck.
You're digging a hole here.
Yeah, I'm digging a hole.
I think my Lando voice would get me cancelled, but I'm glad you're coming in.
It really is something. I'm not going to cancel you over it. I would like to, so I never have to hear it again.
Hey,
whenever it shows up, at the very least, it amuses me. Your Ray voice is worse. Yeah, I
bypassed the compressor. I bypassed the compressor.
I bypassed the compressor. Master Skywalker. Oh, No, this is a good one.
Force is power that
I
allows
think what
Jedi
my
to
action plan.
levitate rocks and things.
You leave her alone. She was right. They all do it. She was correct. Luke can say otherwise, but he's levitated his fair share of shit. Come on now, Luke.
Why would he levitate
Um,
shit?
well, you can. You can definitely levitate shit as a Jedi. We're meant to be talking about Han Solo.
I'm now imagining for like Jedi Temple in like for 1800s, they'd have to levitate that shit away.
Ah, yes, and my grand vision for this series is that back in the old times, the Jedi would all just shit in their pants and then magic it away with the Force.
Trans rights are human rights.
Transfer it to human rights, absolutely. Oh god.
Uh,
So, Han Solo.
Han Solo.
Fuck, where was I? Han Solo.
Just
Don't
like races.
like media about races. Dislike races. I like this one a bit more because it was less about the race and it was kind of more about the people in the race, and there was a bit of intrigue and stuff, and I quite liked it. And also, Anna is really, really cool, and her people suck. They're the worst. I can't believe it. I can't believe like this woman is so cool, but the rest of her people are just like the most gaslighty fucks, and I really dislike them.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Also, I like the fact that you know, Han he likes doing this, and it's quite nice to see him doing things that he likes to do. You know, because quite often it feels like when you get Han in a thing, he's like, "Oh, I have to go and do this thing. Oh,
Yep.
I can't believe I have to go and do this thing." You know. But this is the thing that he really wanted to do, and it got kind of fucked up by all of the other bullshit. But like at the very least, he was like, "Yay, ship go fast."
Have you got anything else you want to bring up about this comic?
I think that's all of my feelings on it. Yeah, it's not as good as Lando.
Hmm.
It was very enjoyable, but I preferred Lando. Lando had a lot going for it.
That's very fair. So, Emily, thank you for joining me as always.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for joining me.
And before we go, remember to follow us on Instagram and as of now TikTok. We are at Crashing the Starfighter on both of those. I am putting together some little
Whoa.
clips that I'm uploading to both of those. So if you like that, keep an eye out. I'm trying to get better on the socials. We also have an email at Crashing the Starfighter where you can give us your thoughts, your opinions, or the answer to the following question.
Ooh, let's go.
What class of Star Destroyer was used by the Republic during the Clone Wars?
Ooh.
See you next time, guys. Bye.
See you next time. See you. Bye. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
It was the 4th of May, and you and I were fireworks.
Oh, that was incredible, actually.